Hello, welcome to Good Work Now. I'm Dr. Brian Moffitt, your host. There's a lot of negative energy impacting the workplace these days. Strong emotions like fear, anger, sadness are surfacing as a result of all the economic challenges we're experiencing. And these strong emotions in turn cause conflict, anxiety, strained relationships. And right now, it's important that we all take some time to look at our relationships, our organizations, our workplace, to see what we can do to put balance back in our work. What we're talking about is work-life balance, and all this month we're going to be focusing on how to achieve some healthy balance for yourself, your team, and your organization. I am very pleased to welcome back to our show Kristen Mortensen. Kristen is the wellness coordinator for the City of Sacramento, and she has many credentials. She's also the city's career coach. She has a certification as a national certified counselor, a registered professional counselor, and a master career counselor. Thank you, Kristen, very much for being back. You were on our show a few weeks ago regarding career coaching, and so I'm really glad you could be here today to talk about this very important topic of wellness and well-being. And today, Chris and I are going to be focusing on the wellness program that the City of Sacramento has. And it's not the only wellness program out there, but it's a model that we're going to walk through and talk through and hopefully give our viewers some insights about what is wellness and what they can do to achieve a better state of balance for themselves, their team, or their organization. Let's start off by talking about what is wellness. And I was looking at the website for the City of Sacramento's wellness program, and I love the definition because it's very brief and to the point. And the definition is striving to be your own personal best.
Yes.
And so what does that conjure up for you when you think about being your own personal best? Or what are your thoughts about that definition for the City of Sacramento?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me back. I have a lot of fun on this show. Well, I like the definition because it's broad and it really allows the person to self-define what that's going to be. So there really doesn't put any walls around it. It really allows the person to define in the moment what they want to say for themselves. So it can be what it's going to be in 2009. It could be different in 2011.
Right.
And it can focus on the different areas that I know we're going to touch upon in a few minutes. And how we define it at the city, define it those 6 different dimensions. So someone can concentrate on one particular dimension this year and then can concentrate on a different dimension a few years from now.
Exactly. So it's a very personal, individualized definition.
Yes.
So what's my personal best is, for me, different than what your personal best could be for you.
Yes.
And so we'll talk more about that.
Yes.
Let's spend a little time talking about why wellness. And I opened up the show talking about the stress that's impacting the organization right now. We have a lot of stressors. Folks are being laid off. It's not just those being laid off, it's their families are being impacted. Supervisors, employers are feeling the stress of having to deliver pink notices or release notices.
Yes.
Co-workers that are losing their co-worker, the layoff guilt,
Yep.
survivor guilt that people can experience when a co-worker is being laid off.
There's the dumping.
Right,
There's
right.
dumping that
So
occurs.
if, for example, if I get laid off, you inherit my work. So not only are you feeling guilt, you're feeling resentment.
Yep.
And so you have more negative emotions going on in the workplace.
Exactly.
And I was doing some research yesterday on this topic, and the World Health Organization has estimated that $300 million a year is spent in American corporations as a result of stress.
Yes.
So not just what's happening now with the economy, having a workplace wellness program is important for the bottom line. It can help reduce stress claims and that sort of thing. Let's go ahead and talk about the city's wellness program. And I understand there's 6 dimensions. I call them buckets.
Okay.
6
Yes, you
buckets
do.
of
Yes.
wellness.
Yes.
And the 6 buckets are emotional,
Social,
social, spiritual,
physical, occupational, and intellectual.
You've got them all memorized. I have to
I
refer
do.
to my piece of paper here.
Yeah.
Let's start off with emotional wellness. What's your thoughts about what is emotional wellness? What does that consist of?
Well, it consists of what it says. It's where are your emotions and how regulated are they?
Okay.
And of course, we all move back and forth. You don't have to be rigidly happy all the time. You don't have to be in the doldrums all the time. We're all on a continuum. We're human beings. We're not going to be black and white all the time. But if you find yourself most days out of the week low, then there's a problem.
Okay.
Now,
So-
if you find yourself most days of the week happy, there's not a problem, right? That's not a bad
If you're
thing.
truly happy.
If you're truly
Right.
happy.
Right.
And then now we're talking about counseling issues, and that's
Right.
too big for a half an
Right.
hour show. But for the most part, we're wanting to have the employee self-gauge.
Okay.
Is there an issue going on from a stress perspective where they're not acting as they know themselves to be? Is there an
Right.
emotional issue coming up where they're not themselves, they're not feeling themselves?
Exactly.
Are they crying at work when they're not usually
Mhm.
used to crying at work?
Exactly.
Are they snapping at employees? Are they snapping at their supervisor?
Exactly.
Are they not motivated like they used to be? Are they forgetting things?
Right.
They're just not following through that like they used to.
And so those could be symptoms that emotionally in that bucket something's not good.
Exactly.
And
Something is
Something's off
Exactly.
in the emotional dimension of their wellness.
exactly.
And so maybe they can look at themselves and find, okay, what's the emotion behind my burnout state, or my coming in late, or my friction with my coworkers? Are they
Yes.
feeling some anger? Are they
Yes.
feeling some sadness? Are they feeling some guilt?
Mhm.
So it sounds like looking at your behavior and seeing other symptoms that
Exactly.
emotionally I'm out of balance,
Exactly.
and then what's driving those behaviors.
Exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes we have to watch about terminology. Words are very important to
Mhm.
people. So you use the word buckets, it works for you.
Right.
Symptoms sometimes work for people. Other times people don't like the word symptomology because
Right.
it turns them off. They've had a bad experience with doctors, or they think that symptoms means I'm crazy.
Right.
And I don't like thinking that I'm crazy. So at the city, we have a pictorial representation of the wellness program, and it's a tree. We have
Mhm.
all 6 of the dimensions around the tree. So we talk about the tree as having hydrated or dehydrated branches or
right.
broken branches. So that's another pictorial image of the wellness
So your
program.
emotional
So-
limb could be dehydrated, and you need to
Exactly.
attend to it,
Exactly.
like fertilizer, water, or just attend to it and
Exactly.
pay attention to it.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about intellectual wellness, that dimension of wellness. What are some of your thoughts about what that consists of, or when people are thinking about their intellectual wellness, what should they be considering?
Well, it could be as simple as boredom and
Mhm.
wanting to not feel bored. Like they might be getting into a rhythm of their life. They go to work, they go home, they make dinner, they get into the rhythm of putting the kids to bed,
Mhm.
getting them up. They just want to do something different. They want to be excited by something.
They're in a rut.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So it might mean going and getting a book. It might mean going and starting a hobby.
Mhm.
Getting involved in a group that they have not been involved in, going to a class.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean maybe going and getting a degree. It could just be something really, really simple and small.
Exactly.
Just something that will intellectually stimulate
Right.
them.
And maybe be around other folks to have different types of conversations.
Exactly.
So maybe you're not talking to the same folks, you're talking to other other students in the class that would help
Perhaps.
stimulate that part of you.
Perhaps. For instance, what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You-
Exactly, doing
you
this
created
show.
this show.
Right, this is stimulating me intellectually, and actually it's stimulating a bunch of dimensions of wellness for me. But it really has challenged me to start thinking more technically. I have a lot of admiration for the technicians that are helping to do this show right now. There's so much about editing
Yes.
and production and so forth, so I feel like I'm being rewired. My synaptics are connecting on different levels
Yeah.
that they haven't connected before.